Shigeru Miyamoto. I think that's the best pronunciation I've done of his name on the podcast.
That's good.
It's so weird, too, because I say it normally in normal conversations all the time, but for some reason when it comes to the podcast I go like Shigeru. Miyamoto. Shigeru.
If you really want to get it right, you say Shigeru Miyamoto.
Like that. Now we're going to be called racist. Great.
Hey, come at me. I'm fine with that.
Because language is a race and accents are a race. But anyway, enough of all that. So Shigeru Miyamoto did 2 for 2. Nicely done, Stephen. Has some bit of criticism for the gaming industry. And I can't help but think that this is squarely aimed at things like Fortnite. And here's what he actually had to say. You see if you see it too. And by the way, this is in an interview with Bloomberg, and he, was asked about, their mobile device or their smartphone games that have come out so far. We've seen 4.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
The Mario Run.
Super Mario Run.
Final
Miitomo.
Fantasy, right?
No, that's Square
No,
Enix.
sorry, yeah.
Miitomo. Then we also had Fire Emblem Heroes, and we've had an Animal Crossing game. I don't know what it's called. Pocket Camp. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. So, in reference to that, he stated, "I can't say that our fixed cost model has really been a success." The reason why he said this, by the way, was because the games, I think Super Mario Run was like $10 for the full game, which is kind of weird because, phone games you don't really expect to pay that much for if you're going to pay anything at all.
Yeah.
They're normally in-app purchases, microtransactions. He went on to say, "But we're going to continue pushing it forward until it becomes entrenched. That way everyone can develop games in a comfortable environment. By focusing on bringing games to the widest range of people possible, we can continue boosting our mobile game business." He further went on to talk about, we have streaming services, we have MP3 services. Like if you want an MP3 now, you go either onto iTunes or what's that other one? Begins with an S.
Spotify.
Spotify. Yes. Spotify or iTunes to buy your music now. You want to watch a video, you go to YouTube or you go to Netflix. Like there's all these streaming things, a lot of digital storefronts. So in reference to that, he said, "It's necessary for developers to learn to get along with subscription-style services. When seeking a partner for this, it's important to find someone who understands the value of your software. Then customers will feel the value in your apps and software and develop a habit of paying money for them." And it's interesting that he said that because there have been microtransactions in those mobile games, Super Mario Run aside. I think Miitomo had a way for you to get in-game currency by spending real money for it. Fire Emblem Heroes, of course, if you wanted a certain character, you had to pay extra for that character. And then I guess Animal Crossing had a ton of microtransactions in it as well. So he's not just calling out other companies, he's calling out Nintendo too for doing these microtransactions. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos recently about other gaming channels talking about how when you add DLC, like this is any DLC you can think of. When you have DLC for your game, what you're doing is you are carving value out of the game. I don't necessarily agree with this 100%. Let's look at Smash Brothers, for instance. I feel like Smash Brothers gives you a fantastic value for $60, and then they do the correct thing with DLC. They add characters later. They take their time after the game's already out and you can enjoy it. Instead of you having to wait longer so you can add a few more characters, they add those in later as DLC.
Right.
And I think when Mewtwo came out, or before Mewtwo came out, they said that because he was like the only announced DLC character at first in Wii U Smash. And they said that if Mewtwo was successful, they would look into releasing more. And then we got like a total of, I think, 7 characters. Yeah, seven DLC characters in that game. So that's great. I have no qualms with that model.
When they don't pull a what was that? The game we talked about last week where there was like that character that they were going to make DLC.
Soul Calibur 6.
Yeah, they didn't pull a Soul Calibur 6.
Tyra's Day 1 DLC, yeah. Like that's
carving value out of the game.
And it's so blatant too.
Right.
That's when you know that there's some kind of boardroom meeting where they're just like, what are we going to let go into the core or I'm starting to call them starter editions of the game. Like, here's your starter edition, and then you can buy booster packs, kind of like a card game.
I feel like with DLC, there's one right way to do it, and then there's all these wrong ways.
Tons of wrong ways to do it. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right with that. So I think, and I do think that he's also talking about the free-to-play games, but they charge you for, what's the term? Cosmetic items in the game. Looking at you, Fortnite. Fortnite. Yeah.
V-Bucks and all the stupid skins they have.
And the dances are apparently, you can buy dances.
Don't even...
At least they don't do loot boxes.
Yeah.
I don't believe that they do loot boxes. I don't play Fortnite, so I'm not 100% certain, but I've never heard anyone complain about it. But I do think for the most part, he's right that we do need to get away. Like, you need to just give a good game at a good value. And then if you're going to do DLC, have it be something that truly feels like DLC. I criticized the Breath of the Wild DLC before it came out. And then when it came out, like, I kept reading about it and researching, and I was like, whoa, this is actually really neat, and I got it and I loved it.
Yeah,
that's like probably it's actually more, some of that DLC is more fun than other parts of the game. Like, I rank it up really high. That's how you do DLC right.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, there's definitely a right way to do DLC, or just charge extra content for a game. And there's a wrong way to do it. I think Nintendo, for the most part, is doing a good job, but I haven't played their mobile games. I played the free version of Super Mario Run. I think it lets you play through like the first 3 levels, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Super Mario Run?
I think I did a little bit on your phone. And
really?
Yeah, and it was okay.
I was like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. If you're going to control Mario with one finger, this is how you would do it.
Yeah. Still waiting on that Zelda puzzle game that they need to make at some point.
Zelda, yeah, that'll be interesting what they do on mobile games for it. Fire Emblem is a good fit for mobile, but it's interesting. They're for the mobile games market, they're really going to have to fight the tendency to have a free-to-play game with a ton of microtransactions. Like the $10 app thing, if he said that Nintendo's going to stick to it, I wish him well. I mean, it may not be my cup of tea, but people who buy mobile games, like, maybe they'll start to see the value of it and plop that $10 down.